Hey, healthy, happy, and fulfilled community. Me, the modern day monk, here with you today to talk about one of my favorite and quite possibly the most important aspect of our lives, something that we actually do in reverse. We try to minimize its abundance in our lives in hopes that we don't make people feel bad, but it's the one thing that everybody needs more of, and the more we have, the better we feel. And why do we do this? I don't know. My apologies to you for our delayed start this morning or this evening. I had some technical difficulties, got kicked on, kicked off, kicked on, kicked off, back and forth a couple times, trying to get the live feeds going. But we are here now, and we're going to keep tonight short and sweet and go over what is the most powerful and potent aspect of our lives, of our existence, of our consciousness that's used the same by monks and millionaires to increase the quality of life that they perceive and that they receive from this abundant universe. If you've guessed celebration, enjoyment, and fulfillment, you are correct. That is what we are talking about tonight in our seventh principle of the hierarchy of human optimization. If you're not familiar with the hierarchy of human optimization, it is seven simple principles that, when done, lead you to a life of exponentially greater health, happiness, and fulfillment. What would be better than that? Having a life that we feel healthy, a life where we are happy, and a life where we are successful and find fulfillment in all that we do. I know that sounds like a beautiful thing for me. That's why I've been striving, learning, and creating this process for over 20 years, and why I share it with so many of you. So if you like the content we're putting out, please make sure you leave a comment that helps us with the algorithms, subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the healthy, happy, and fulfilled community. And if you are the kind of person that wants to go deeper, which I'm pretty sure you are because you're watching this video right now, make sure you subscribe to the Modern Day Alchemists, my small group community of coaching clients. We work together every Tuesday and Wednesday night, every Monday and Wednesday night, just after this call at 7:30, to go in deep on each one of these principles, showing you the tips and tricks used, like I said, the techniques used by the monks and the millionaires, where we blended modern science and ancient wisdom to bring you to a life of health, happiness, and fulfillment. Like I said, today we are talking about the cornerstone and the capstone, the foundation and the apex of the hierarchy of human optimization, and that is celebration. The secret is that this ingredient, this principle, is sprinkled throughout all of the other steps. Because if we can link pleasure and enjoyment, satisfaction and fulfillment, when we link those things to aspects of our lives, the things that we do, the things that we say, the things that we feel, how we interact with each other, guess what? Our brain starts to create all these little chemicals inside of it, these little neurotransmitters that signal the hormones in the body that are all endorphins. They're endogenous morphine, internally created morphine. They're happy chemicals. It's literally a pharmacopoeia of drugs inside you that make you happy. And the more that you trigger their release, guess what? The simpler, quicker, and easier they are released in your system. The more you release them, the more abundantly they're released in your system. And the more you release them, the more receptor sites your cells create to absorb and react with them. Which means the more you practice, the better you get at it. That's why happy people are so damn hard to get unhappy. And that's also why miserable people are so damn hard to get happy. Right? So, where do we practice? How do we do this? Well, if you want a challenge for this week, tune in just an hour, for just 50 minutes from now at 8 p.m., we will be releasing our next challenge, this week's challenge, involving the Tree of Three and how to celebrate a little bit deeper. So I'm not going to go into what the challenge is now. I want you to tune in and watch that video later so you can catch up and fulfill the goals for this week, right? We want to make sure that we are actually putting these things into process as time is going on, because work without action is nothing. It's useless. Hopes without action, belief without action just gives us a brain full of thoughts, but a life of emptiness, right? So we are all about taking action here, which actually was last week's principle, manifestation. So we talked last week about learning how to manifest. We talked strongly about the path to live, the 5-point planning process. I know many of you had some great successes. You had some epiphanies and eyeballs open up and light bulbs go off in your head about different ways that you could change your scheduling, block things together, how to clearly set better goals for yourself, how to follow through, how to leverage other people and other things to add more things into your life so that you can get more done by doing less yourself. Now, that's a great thing to do, right? Like get more things done, make more money, have more time, and have actually less things to do. That's a great success tip right there. So if you missed that, go back to last week's video in the Healthy, Happy, and Fulfilled page or on the YouTube channel and check out that playlist. Look at last week's video and get caught up on that because there are some mind-blowing strategies on how to create and manifest more abundance in your life. This week, we're going to go very, very simple into the tree of three and where and how we want to express and find more happiness, where we want to find more enjoyment, where we want to find more fulfillment. Because you know what? These things are around us all the time. This entire week, I've been talking about us being like a radio receiver, a radio receiver, like a radio in your car. Remember the old days? You used to have those radios. We turned the dial, and a little bar went back and forth, and it changed different sounds, and all of a sudden, a radio station would come in. Now, how did that work? Right? It didn't work by clicking onto the station that you wanted, a signal going to the radio station, telling the DJ to play a song, and then that song starting to play and being sent to you. No, the DJ and the radio station were playing that music the entire time. It was abundantly around you. Those radio waves were floating all around you, all around the radio, all around your car, everywhere. But you weren't aware of them. You weren't able to tap into them because you didn't tune yourself up. And we talk about tuning up our mind, our body, our breath to get literally in tune with the frequencies of abundance that we want in the life and the world around us. So this dials in even deeper when we talk about our tree of three. We want to tune into the tree of three. If you have a pen and paper, write this down right now. If you don't have one, go grab one real quick because the tree of three is one of the most important aspects of life. There are only 3 categories we can put anything in our lives into: our health, our wealth, and our relationships. Everything you do, everything you buy, every choice you make is one or a combination of those 3 categories: our health, our wealth, and our relationships. And we call these 3 things the tree of three because just like a tree, the trunk goes up, we have some branches, those branches go up, they have more branches, and there's 3 steps off of each of these. And it's really important to know these because we want to make sure we have clarity in our mind of what we're looking for in our lives when we break down where we want to improve, or in this week, where we actually want to celebrate. And it's really not even celebrate, it's taking acknowledgement of all the things around us to celebrate. So continue writing this down, right? Under the category of health, we want to write down these 3 words: mental, physical, and emotional. Those are our 3 basic forms of health. And yes, they go on even further, like a tree, keep branching off to smaller branches, but we don't want to micromanage these things. We want to do these in big chunks. The big 3 chunks we want under health are our mental health, our physical health, and of course, our emotional health. When we discuss our wealth, the second trunk of the tree of 3, we're talking about our financial and career, right? What we do for work, our business life, right? Where our money, our finances, and our assets come from in that regard. Financial and career is the first one. Second is our purpose or our mission. What is our fulfillment in life, right? What are we trying to do? What is our purpose and our mission? And third, I think one of the most important ones that gets looked over more frequently than anything else, our quality of life. Because you see, if you don't have a quality of life, you have no life. If your quality of life is 0 or less, you have no life. The entire purpose of life is to enjoy it. We have these chemicals in us for that reason. We're not supposed to be stuck with suffering and miserable. No, we're supposed to be enjoying. and loving and appreciating our lives, right? So we got health and we got wealth. Again, under wealth, we have financial and career, our purpose and fulfillment, and our quality of life to make those three. And then finally, we have our relationships. And our relationships come with three P's, right? We have our personal relationship, the relationship with me and myself. I have my private relationship, and that's the relationship with my intimate spouse and the people closest to me, my closest friends, my closest family, my closest coworkers, the people that are in my intimate, in close family circle. And then finally, we have our public, and that is our social relationships. People that are a little bit further away from us that aren't in our immediate circle, all the way to strangers and people we've never met before, the driver in the car next to you, the lady that's at the grocery store, all those people, places, and things, right? So those are our three: our personal, our private, and our public. And again, those fall under our health, our wealth, and our relationship. And those are our tree of three. So we want to make sure that as we go through life that we are looking at this tree of three and we're keeping our eyes open for the signs. We're keeping our eyes open for the signals, the signs and symptoms, as they would say in medicine, right? We want to look to see how these things are being expressed. We want to be aware of them, because when we are aware of things, we can then acknowledge that they are happening to us or around us. And once we acknowledge that they are happening to us or around us, we have acknowledgement of the fact. We can either adapt to them, adjust them, or alter what they mean to us, right? These are the A's of change, right? We can first need to become aware, then we need to acknowledge it, and then we can adapt, adjust, or alter what the meanings that we give things are. So where does this play in? How do we give ourselves happiness? How do we tune into these things? Well, first, we have to be aware and acknowledge that there is an abundance of happiness going on, even in the worst of times. Believe me, I've had the unique pleasure of having a shotgun barrel scrape between my teeth. I've been on the floor near a coma from drugs and alcohol. I've had some bad situations happen in my life. And even in those times, I found that it was even more necessary to recognize the truth of the blessings and the beauties I had. Think about this. Think about if you have a puppy, a dog, or a pet that you love so dearly and they pass away, or heaven forbid, maybe even a family member. What happens in those times of mournings? Yes, we're in distress. Our friends and family are in distress. Everyone's mourning. But what does that happen for? Why do we have that pain? Well, I realized one day we had a medical procedure go wrong with one of our dogs, and one of the nearby hospitals performed medical malpractice and basically killed our dog. It cost a substantial amount of money for us to try to save his life, and we were told that we would only have a 15% chance of getting back to being a full functioning dog. He was left in a drug-induced coma, having seizures, with an abdominal systemic infection and a spinal infection, brain infection, lesions on his brains that were giving him seizures. And they gave him back to me in a blanket with his IVs and said, go try to find another hospital. We can't do anything for him. So not so happy about that place. Thanks, guys in Sullivan. That dog ended up having me put down. It was a tough decision. And I remember holding my wife's hands as we drove home from the hospital that day. And we were both distraught. We loved this dog. We rescued the dog. We had the dog for just a short amount of time. He was still a very young puppy. And it was a very, very sad experience. But I noticed something, that when we got home, even on the car ride, we had a greater, deeper appreciation for our love for each other. And when we got home, we showered our two remaining dogs with so much love, so many gifts, so many hugs and kisses. And it occurred to me that the whole reason why we mourn and we suffer those pains of loss is so that we can gain an appreciation for life. So we can actually have that feeling of how special it is. Because like the old saying is, you don't know how good you got it until it's gone. Well, the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, right? When something is taken away from you, when you experience that loss, especially of a loved one, a family member, it's supposed to bring us closer together. It's supposed to let those that remain understand and acknowledge how important their time is, how sacred their lives are, how much of a blessing and a miracle it is that we are even alive. we have a 1 in 300 trillion chance of actually being alive. So every day when you wake up, that's a blessing. That's a miracle. That's a gift. Doesn't have to happen. We literally win the lotto every day when you wake up. And throughout the day, something like 1 million people die every 24 hours. It's an absurd amount of people. So if you think about it, you win that lotto and you're one of the ones that's still alive after having a 300 trillion to 1 chance of actually being a human and being born. Damn, man, that's some odds, some good luck. That's a blessing. And then think about where we are in perspective to other people. Can you breathe? Can you see? Can you move? Can you touch? Can you feel? Do you have people around you? Do you have a roof? Do you have a floor? Do you have windows and doors? Do you have fans and air conditioning? Do you have running water and electric and heat? Do you have shoes on your feet and clothes to wear? Do you have a laundromat or a washer and dryer to keep them clean? Do you have TV, pets, and animals? Do you have friends and family? Do you have a job? Do you have income? Do you have a car? All things to be thankful for. And even in the times where you think there's absolutely no wins, there's nothing to be successful for in your life, nothing to feel fulfilled for, the next time you take a crap and wipe your ass and your fingers don't go through the toilet paper, be grateful for that. Because that in itself keeps a shitty day from happening. And yes, I'm being a little cheeky and being a little sarcastic and making it a little funny because I want to break this kind of down energy we have going on here and bring it back to a little bit of a fun place so we can really truly acknowledge the fact that we are here to have fun. We are here to be like young babies. See, we are not just the age we are right now. We're all the ages we've ever been. And that means that young, playful baby, that curious infant, and that playful adolescent and young teenager are still within us. And you know what? Even if you didn't have a good childhood, it's never too late to have a good childhood. We can go back and change those memories, change those thoughts, change the meanings of those situations that we've been through so they empower us. We can engage with them and make them empowering for us by changing the definitions, and it's never too late to have a good childhood. So in closing tonight, I want you all to do one thing for me. Look at your health, look at your wealth, look at your relationships, and just ask yourself, where could I be grateful? Where could I be thankful? Where could I be pleased? And I get it. I'm not asking you to let me know where everything is perfect. And I'm not asking you to let me know how everything is so far away from being apexically precise and the dreams coming true. I'm simply asking you to do this. Return back to a natural state and find yourself blissfully dissatisfied. Blissful that you're here, blissful that you're alive, blissful for the simple fact that we have opportunity around us, because every breath we take, every time our heart beats, we have a new opportunity to engage the world and create a new definition, a new meaning, and a new reality for ourselves, and walk on a path towards a new quality of life. And being dissatisfied in the fact that if you are like me and you are here right now, you know where we are isn't necessarily where we want to be, and that there's always something we can do to dial in, to tune up, to get a little bit more precise and increase the abundance we have, the happiness we have, and the quality of lives that we have. So we don't need to be satisfied. You can be satisfied, but you can also be blissfully dissatisfied. If you move from third place in the race to second place in the race, you should be ecstatic that you passed that third place person, passed that second place person, and now they're in third and you're in second. But you can still be dissatisfied that you're not the leader yet. See, the glass isn't half full, nor is the glass half empty. The glass is full all the time. It just depends on your perception of what's important inside that glass. Because if you were underwater drowning, you wouldn't want that water that's half filling the glass. You would want that emptiness of air that is half empty in the glass. And the more emptiness there was in that glass, the more breaths of air you would have, and the more fulfilled and filled your lungs would be. So, my friends, I want to leave you with that tonight. I am going to hop off and head into the Modern Day Alchemist channel. Those of you that want to drop in with that, send me a DM. We will get you introduced into that group, checking out what we do there, how we learn to play with our brain chemistry, to play with the alchemy of our body, to learn how to dial in these tools so we can have a better experience of life by consciously knowing and consciously controlling how our bodies operate. My friends, I am the Modern Day Monk, Ryder J. Champollion. Be well and live life fully.